Well, one thing I would change about foster care is, some of the rules. They say, we're giving you a better life. We want you to be a kid. Let us be a kid. Let us make mistakes. Let us get in trouble on our own terms. And when we get in trouble, don't send us off to another home. That's not the way it should be. When we're attached to somebody, like I am Rochelle is my mom. She gives me chances because she wants me to be her kid. She wants me to be her kid. I am her kid. And, let a kid be a kid. Yeah, we're 16, 17, 18. We're going into the big world. Let us make our mistakes first. For some, depending on case to case, if for a foster kid to have a driver's license, depending on case to case, yes and no. No for those who they think is going to escape, run away, AWOL. But for people like me, I try my hardest. I work, I make my money, I save my money, and I want to have my own car. I want to not rely on other people to drive me here and drive me there. Yes, it's a big responsibility, but for those who can have that responsibility, yeah, I do.
If I could change one thing about the policies of the Kentucky foster care system, it would be that there would be more mother-baby homes available instead of the few that we have for the parents and children that actually need it, that are teenagers. And that's important to me because I have a daughter and I really only had one choice of what home I could go to within the state, and I just wish there were more options. I definitely think we should be able to get our license at age 16 in foster care. The reason being because depending on where you're placed, you could be far from school, or I'm working in Nicholasville now, I'm in school in Lexington, and so it's kind of stressful having to depend on somebody else's schedule to get back and forth when somebody who can be trusted to go away from where they're placed, they should be able to just drive themselves if they're already trusted to go there.
One thing that I would probably change the most with Kentucky's foster care is abuse victims. There's many of us. That's a lot of the reason why a lot of us are here. And with nothing being done at all about our abuse histories, we just kind of go through program to program and not get the direct help that we really need, so we just kind of stay stuck in different places. I think that there should be more specialized programs out there to treat the specific things that are going on in our lives. Whereas there's 1,000,001 hospitals here, but if you're just staying there for 2 weeks, you're not going to get the job done. I most definitely think that we should be able to get our driver's license at 16 because of the fact if we're already in a ILP program or foster care or somehow in the state's cabinet, then we should, if we're trusted enough to be able to do that, then we should be able to get our license, be able to be more independent like they always are pushing us to be. But without having a driver's license, we can't be independent fully. With independency, in my opinion, comes a lot of responsibility. And if we can show and prove to our social workers and to our staff members and whoever it be that we are capable and we are responsible enough to be able to hold a driver's license in our hand and be able to not kill someone on the road, then we should be able to do what we want and get our driver's license. It's just simple. There's no real getting around it. All the other quote-unquote normal kids get to do it, and why aren't we normal?
If I could change one thing in Kentucky's foster system, then I would change the independence living program. And I would change the fact that we cannot have animals in the program. I believe you should be able to get your license at the age of 16, even though you are in state's care. I personally got into state's care one day before I was able to get my license. I was very upset, and people teased me about it in high school.
Yeah, I think I would prefer people look into our cases before they take us out of our homes and taking us away from our family.
Okay.
I think we should get our license when we're in state's custody because it's harder when we're older. Like I'm 17 and I don't know how to drive, and that makes jobs harder to get to. And taking the bus, it slows you down and drive, like going to work, and that's hard to go.
My name is Tiffany Yates. I am 20 and I'm from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I've been in foster care for 8 years. I came in foster care when I was 11. It's been a hard and struggle for me for 8 years, moving from home to home, experiencing new families and friends and schools and everything else. It was a struggle for me to go through high school. I did graduate last year from North Hardin High School in Radcliffe, Kentucky. I now have a new foster family that I stay with. I've been with them for 2 years, and I have already experienced independent living. I now stay by myself in an apartment. So the independent living process has already been accomplished, and I'm learning how to do things on my own as far as budgeting and other things like that. But as far as foster care, it's a good program. It's really good, but you know, I feel like sometimes kids are not always dealt the right hand and come into foster care, and they go through different obstacles with foster families that are not quite what they want. You know, foster parents, some of them only do it for the money, which I think it's not fair. But as far as for me, I experienced good homes and some bad homes, but it was a struggle for me. But now I'm 20 now, and I would say that foster care helped me out a lot. I don't know where I would be today if I didn't have the help from the social workers and everybody else that helped me to where I am now. At 16, I think youth should get their driver's license because you're growing up to that time to where you don't want to be depending on somebody else. It's that time to where, you know, school and friends and everything else, and you don't want to have to be like, hey, can you take me here, can you take me here? You know, it's just a sense of independency. I now just got my permit at 18, and you know, I have to wait now to get my license. And back in high school, it was just like, you know, all my friends were driving and going here and going there, and you know, I couldn't go because either my foster parents didn't want to drive me or I didn't have nobody to take me. So I think they should make that rule acceptable. You know, I think it's not fair that just because we were put in the system, we have to be centered out from getting our permit as far as people who were born and still with their biological parents.
If there was one thing I could change about the foster care system, it would be I would give the opportunity for kids to be more kids. Like, I'm not saying that we should get all the freedom that we want or whatever, and get to run around and do everything, but sometimes, like, I don't feel like a normal kid. I feel like I'm different from all the rest of the kids because I don't get to do what they get to do. Like, I don't get to be, sometimes it depends, like, you can get a good foster home or whatever and they can make you feel part of the family, but sometimes you just feel like the outcast. So I think it should be more homey, more like more assuring that someone's going to be there to support you and help you out and do things for you and benefit you. I think that children should be able to get their license at the age of 16 because, like, it goes back to what I said. Like, all the other kids get to do, like, they get to go and do their permit and do all of that, and like some foster kids, like, we just sit there and we're just kind of like, oh, well, we have to wait till we're a certain age and do this and do that. So I think kids should be able to do it. I mean, of course, like, not if they're like being bad and stuff. I don't think they should get the opportunity to do it.
If there was something I could change about the foster care system, it would be the name of foster care, because I've been in the system since I was 14, and it doesn't make me feel exactly comfortable when people ask me what type of program I'm in. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Yes, I do, because I think that people should be able to get their permit or driver's license at the age of 16 while in state care, because they want to be like every other kid, and they wouldn't feel exactly normal, and they'd feel weird and not be like everybody else.
One thing I would change is the foster parents. Some of them. Some of them treat you like slaves. You know, a bunch of laziness. Rules. I changed a few rules. I think we should all be allowed to have our license, you know, be able to sign for a license. I mean, that'd be awesome. Instead of having somebody, you know, have to consent for you, you know, sign for you, you can sign yourself. You know, because it is America. You're supposed to have freedoms.
So do you think we should get our...
Oh, I think you should, yeah.
Why is that important to you?
Why would you want somebody driving you around all the time? You know? You're wasting their time. And their money, because they have to pay for gas. They save money. And you get out of their hair for a minute. Well, my story starts, I was living with my grandma and grandfather. And when they passed away, I was sent to foster care. And yeah, I spent six or 7 months in foster care, and then I was transitioned into my cousin and my aunt's house. I lived with them for almost a year, and then we had a difference in opinions, and I became AWOL. I rode a train from Grant County, Kentucky, all the way to Louisville, Kentucky. I lived under a bridge for 2 months, going to foster care. Well, not foster care, but like homeless shelters, and eating, you know, just trying to take care of myself. I ended up meeting some cool people, and they had a camp, like a homeless camp that I lived in. And I lived with them for 5 months, and after I was found out by the police. And, well, I was sent back to foster care because they figured that I would not want to stay with my aunt, my cousin anymore. And, yeah, now I'm here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird, but it's all right. It's all a journey. Life's a journey.
It's true.
I mean, knowledge is power.
Despite everything, good and bad, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself?
Where do I see myself, like in the future?
Yes.
I want to be a musician. I can play 7 different instruments.
Wow.
Yeah, I could play bass, guitar, trumpet, cello, drums, violin, viola, piano a little bit. I mean, I'm not big on the violin or the piano. I've never been really that good, but I can play. And I can play harmonica, but I don't count that as an instrument. So, I mean, I have like 8 or 9. I've inspired me. I left on my own, you know, not knowing what I was going to do. Like I said, I rode a train from Grant County, Kentucky to Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't know what was going to, you know, what was lying ahead. But for me to be able to survive on my own as a, you know, young adult, without a job, you know, without money, being able to live on my own for 7 months, if not longer, if I wouldn't have been found. I mean, that inspired me. I mean, it just shows that if you put your mind to something, you can do it.